Welcome to Azeroth United, a weekly podcast about World of Warcraft. My name is Denethar, and I am your host.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. It's Friday night in Azeroth, and we have a great show lined up for you. It's been a few minutes since we had an episode. Missed a little bit of our recording time last week. Things got a little bit chaotic, but we are here now, and we are live and whatever. I don't know what people say. I'm not a DJ. Hey, welcome to WKRQ, the only station that plays World of Warcraft. I don't know. Things have been a little chaotic lately, but we're here. We're recording an episode, and it's going to be great. There is so much going on in WoW right now. Last episode, I talked about how things were kind of dead, and I guess I shouldn't have said I shouldn't have said anything because it all exploded, which is good. I mean, we want things to be exciting and there's news and all that. We want that, but trying to dissect it all and figure out what information to bring to you, lovely people, is I guess that's my job. So that's what I'm here for. Oh boy, do we have a lot to talk about. So first of all, Blizzard has apparently declared war on add-ons. So this is a big thing that the community was making a lot of noise about last week, a couple days ago, or I guess it was earlier this week. We're going to talk about that. I have thoughts there. I mean, we've already discussed this a little bit, but we're getting a little bit more detail and a little bit more specifics from Blizzard on that. So we'll get into that. I also want to do a little bit more talking about the new Lorewalking feature that's coming in patch 11.1.7. I didn't quite understand the feature when it was first announced. Now that it's been around for a while and I've had a chance to try it out on the PTR, it's pretty cool. So we'll talk about the Lorewalking, and just a little bit about player housing, that thing that everyone's super excited about, including myself. I mean, I'm not immune to the excitement of player housing, but there's always that caveat of, but what does that mean? So anyway, we do have a lot to talk about. So pull up a chair, sit back, relax, and enjoy. I don't have a forum post of the week. Didn't do any of that stuff this past week because, like I said, it's been a little chaotic. My home life has been very busy, especially going into the spring, and the weather's gotten nice. So I've had a lot to do outside, but also just some drama, drama here at the house. But that's how it goes. So we. If only. Maybe I'll do an Azeroth United After Dark type episode at some point. I'll tell you guys all the drama. It's been fun. I've had a lot of fun this past week and a half or so, I guess. So last episode, I had not yet gone into Molten Core on my anniversary character. So now we've done 2 Molten Core clears. I did a ZG, we did 2 Onis, and we did 6 out of 8 Blackwing Lair because it's 2 resets. So it's really cool. I got my Dragon Stalker helm. I have 3-piece Giant Stalker. It's been a lot of fun. Shout out to Raid Team 5 of the Adept Scholar Society. We're doing well. They just started Raid Team 5, so this is the new hotness, I guess, right now. Is they took some people from some of the other raid teams and they used them to form the core of Raid Team 5. We had a guild meeting the other day, and the guild leader said that his goal is to have a 6-pack of guilds, or a 6-pack of raiding teams, which I thought was kind of funny. So So there's going to be one more raiding team. So I guess we'll see how it goes. I'm just going to raid on the one character. I don't have time to do any alts or anything like that. But I am working on the Paladin and the Warrior. Just trying to get some farming alts and whatnot. So I had this realization last week. One of the big things that hunters can do on Classic or Vanilla is they can do Dire Maul solo tribute runs. So you just feign death your way through using your pet to pull the mobs away. There's a whole routine to it. But one of the key important things that you have to do, because one of the bosses drops a key for, I forget which door it is now, but it's when you get to the top of the ramp that goes all the way up, and then there's a room of ogres, and you have to unlock that door with the key that you get from one of the bosses. But you can't solo that boss; it's too hard. So you have to have engineering. And me, because I like to do things the way I've always done them, my hunter in vanilla always had leatherworking. In original vanilla, I had leatherworking. I had it in the original, or in 2019 classic, I had in Season Mastery. My hunter had leatherworking and skinning. So at this point, I'm trying to decide: do I drop skinning and pick up engineering and just farm the materials from someone else, or do I drop leatherworking and skinning and pick up mining and engineering? I haven't decided yet, but I am going to try and do it, and I'll get some Dire Maul tribute runs going. Apparently, the big thing is hunters go and solo tribute, and then they sell the buffs on raid nights to people. So, I mean, hey, I'll take it. Why not? So, yeah, I'm going to give that a try. If anybody has listening to this episode, if you've ever done that, let me know, because I've watched a couple of YouTube videos, and it looks like it's like with practice, it should be pretty easy, but I don't have a lot of confidence in my ability, so we'll have to see. But anyway, that's the plan there. So yeah, Cenarion the hunter will be picking up engineering in some capacity. I just don't know what I'm gonna have to do that to train it. What I'm gonna have to drop in order to pick that up. So yeah, and like I said, working on the paladin and the warrior as well. But so it was really interesting going through Molten Core on our group. So we're taking it nice and slow. There are people in there who've never done Molten Core before. So I don't know if these are people who played WoW, but maybe they started late and they didn't do Classic back in 2019, or whatever the reason is. People who have never done Molten Core. And so we are explaining some of these fights and having to kind of go through. And for me personally, I don't know a lot of these fights as a hunter. I haven't done Molten Core as a hunter since 2005, maybe 2006. It's been a minute. So yeah, it's a learning curve for me too. There's add-on. I had to get a trank shot rotation add-on, a couple of other things that I had to learn how to do it the 2025 way versus back in 2005. We were just, I don't know, just throw kitchen sinks at them. Who knows? So it's definitely a different experience, but I'm having a good time. Really love the guild. Great group of people. So if you're playing on Anniversary, if you're on Dream Scythe and you're looking for home, hit me up. I'll see if I can talk to a recruiter about getting you in the guild. So they love to recruit. That was something that the guildmaster said in the meeting that we had the other day. He's like, I love recruiting. So there you go. Anyway, I think that's pretty much it. Oh, there's one other thing. I decided I wanted to rank because in vanilla, I never got my epic mount. I didn't get it until Burning Crusade came out. But I'm like, I want to get my epic mount. I want that. And so I started thinking about how I was going to make money to save money for it. And then somebody was like, "Oh, just get the rank 11 mount." And I was like, I don't even know what that is. So apparently, if you get to rank 11, you could buy a mount. It's like 100 gold or something. But you have to get to rank 11, and that's super easy now that they changed the PvP ranking system in vanilla. So I'm currently Master Sergeant, and we'll see. I think I'm supposed to get. It's like a 3-week or 3 or 4 week process. So I've already done 1 week. I'm on week 2. So yeah, I'll keep you updated as to how that goes. But yeah, just running AV over and over again mindlessly. It's a little frustrating, but the games are like 7 to 10 minutes each. It's not a big deal. So yeah, and that's about it. So yeah, there you go. I did jump onto the War Within today, or not today, last week. The wife needed some help with some. She wanted to do some herbing, and she's like, "Oh, can you help me farm some herbs?" So I did. I jumped on the druid, flew around, picked up some herbs, and it is nice farming in the War Within. I'll give them that. They definitely did a good job of. Modern WoW has vastly improved the experience of farming. However, I have to say, after living with the profession system revamp since the beginning of Dragonflight, so is this like 3 years now? I hate the specialization system for gathering professions. It's awful. Blizzard, come on. This is way too complicated. It does not need to be this complex. They could have given us, I don't know, 50 points instead of 500 or whatever it is that you have to get. It's too much. So, yeah, I'm running around and it's like, oh, well, I didn't put my points in this thing. I put them in that one. And anyway, it's fine. But yeah, the War Within, and we'll talk a little bit about what's coming in patch 11.1.7. I'm pretty excited about the Lorewalking. I'm not gonna lie. That looks really cool. So, all right, that's enough of that. We do have a lot of news and a lot of things to talk about, so let's get into it.
It's time for the news.
In Blizzard news, so the Arena World Championships and Mythic Dungeon International are going to see their finals in the next couple of weeks. The Arena World Championship will starts today, May 23rd, and it's going to go through May 25th, just going to run through the weekend. The gauntlet is today, and that's going to be the single elimination for the 5 teams that didn't make the top 3. And then, so that team will then move on to the grand finale, which will go May 24th, 25th. Broadcasts are going to start at 10 a.m. Pacific time, and the total prize pool is $200,000, which is pretty cool. The Mythic Dungeon International will start on May 30th, and that's going to go through June 1st. That is, so I didn't realize this because I didn't read the press release properly, but the MDI is now following the Great Push format exclusively. So they got rid of the original MDI format. So it's just the Great Push. So it's how high can you go? What's your highest key? Can you do a 21, 22, whatever? And so, yeah, they're just going to run keys as high as they can go. It's actually kind of cool. It's a little exciting. So, and the prize pool for the MDI is $300,000. So if you're looking for something to do this weekend or next weekend, check out the Arena World Championship, or next weekend, the MDI. You can watch those on twitch.tv/Warcraft or youtube.com/Warcraft. So yeah, pretty cool. In the Blizzard store, there is now an Emerald Inferno pack. Blizzard has put this for purchase. It is a mount, a transmog set, which actually looks pretty cool. It's kind of green and spiky with horns and all that stuff. And then the Fell Inferno helm, which is a flaming skull with green flames coming out of it. It's a pretty cool transmog. I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, you can get the Fellborn Chimera, the Lavaborn Emerald Attire, and the Fell Infernal Helm. You can pick those up on the Blizzard store. I don't know how much it is. It's probably like $35. They hide the price on when they announce the article. You have to actually click to go in the store, and I didn't because I'm a noob. These store transmogs, I love the store transmogs, and here's why. I don't buy them. I don't have to buy them. But if I really like something, I'll buy it. It's fine. I'm going to buy it. The thing is, it doesn't affect the game one way or the other. They put tendies in the store a handful of times, and it's like, I don't really care. Because it's an in-game currency for cosmetics. You don't buy anything with it. So it's literally just for cosmetics. So I don't really care about that. And honestly, even if they were selling items in game that you could use for something other than cosmetics, I mean, I guess I would, I don't know. I think I'd be opposed to that. But all the cosmetics, the mounts, all that stuff, sell it all. I don't care. As Jeremy Irons would say, sell it all. So there you go. Speaking of purchases, you can now pre-purchase the World of Warcraft Blood Ties novel. This is written by revered World of Warcraft author Christie Golden. This novel chronicles the journey of Eretor the Redeemer, son of High Exarch Turalian and the legendary Alaria Windrunner, as he embarks on a journey investigating rumors of a strange glow emanating from the ruins of a long-abandoned Legion base, which leads him to uncover more about himself, his parents, and their heroic legacy. World of Warcraft Blood Ties will release on November 18th, 2025, and it's available for pre-order wherever books are sold. Where are books sold besides Amazon? Is there any more Barnes & Nobles? Honestly, is there? I remember Walden Books when I was a kid, but those are long gone. And Crown Books, those are gone. I don't know. Is there any more bookstores? Can you even go into a store and pre-order? Or do you have to do it online? I guess you have to do it online. Yeah, so go to Amazon and give Jeff Bezos more money and pre-order World of Warcraft Blood Ties. So this is obviously a prelude to World of Warcraft Midnight. We will have the announcement before then of how things are going to go and what this is all going to look like going into the next expansion. But the Blood Elves have already been said to feature highly in this expansion. It's going to take place in Silvermoon or revamped Silvermoon. So this will no doubt set the stage for a lot of what's going to come. I do like that the novels have been less crucial to the overall storyline, but in this case, I feel like I'm probably going to end up buying this one because I'm going to want to know what's going on with Eretor. So yeah, World of Warcraft Blood Ties. So I know that Blizzard had put Christie Golden on the payroll at one point, and then they let her go when they did all the layoffs. So I guess maybe this is her last novel that she wrote, or maybe she's freelancing for them. Not sure how that works, but yeah, I mean, Christie Golden's great. So definitely going to want to check that one out. All right, let's talk about the lore walking. So we got a little bit more information about this. And so here's the deal. In patch 11.1.7, we're going to get a new feature, which is called lore walking. It's going to be a new questing experience. So you can start it at level 10 and you'll get XP for it. So a lot of people have talked about maybe this is going to be a new way of leveling, possibly. Their goal here is to make the story more accessible. So they realized that they introduced Xal'atath through the Priest Order Hall questline. And so if you either A, didn't play Legion, or B, didn't play a Priest, you have no idea who Xal'atath is. And if you didn't do the Crucible of Storms questline in Battle for Azeroth, you don't know why Xal'atath looks like a Blood Elf now. So yeah, it's a little confusing. And I think Blizzard, for all the success they've had with Xal'atath as a villain, I think they realized that they fell short in really explaining who Xal'atath is. Now, one of the storylines that they are introducing, and they said they're going to do a bunch. I don't know how many. One of the articles said 38, but I think that was talking about something else. Anyway, they're going to have 3 when it releases in patch 11.1.7. There's going to be Xal'atath and her history and her dealings with the old gods, the Ethereals and their background and their history, and then the Arthas rise to power as the Lich King. So this got me thinking about Arthas and how Arthas is such a important, and I feel like he's like one of the main characters of the Warcraft saga. Like everything, the whole 30-year Warcraft saga, Arthas is one of the main characters. And I know for a fact there were people who, when the Wrath of the Lich King came out in 2008, had no idea who he was. Who's the Lich King? Why are we fighting him? Okay, he's a bad guy. He looks like Darth Vader. Okay. Didn't know who he was because they never played Warcraft 3. So we got some story from the Culling of Stratholme dungeon, which kind of helped with some of that. Oh, okay, he's headstrong and he's arrogant and whatever. But I feel like Blizzard has created this rich lore for years, and it's just rotting on the vine. And so this is a perfect opportunity for them to come back and take this story and actually do something with it. Give it to players in a way that's digestible, in a way that is going to give them some progress on leveling up, or maybe there's going to be some rewards, or however. You can do anything in there. You could take any lore moment and put it into lore walking. And so what it says here is the idea stems from developers recognize that many players, especially newer ones, missed key lore spread across multiple expansions and class-specific content like Shadow Priest and Legion, as we mentioned. Maria Hamilton explained that lore walking aims to consolidate these narratives, helping players become more invested in current events, particularly vital as Azeroth becomes a central figure in the War Within. While there's hope for integration of raid moments into lore walking, nothing is confirmed yet. This is all taken from an interview that was done a couple days ago. I think this is a really interesting feature. I think this is the type of thing that we've needed in WoW for a long time. And I guess Blizzard finally figured out a way to do it that isn't going to cause issues with the game. And yeah, there you go. Lore walking is the new feature coming in patch 11.1.7. I'm really excited about this because I'm kind of tired of leveling alts by doing time walking dungeons. It's boring. It's frustrating. And now they're talking about making time walking dungeons harder. Come on, give me some other way to level up my characters. I don't want to do this anymore with time walking. So lore walking looks like a great way to do this. I hope that they can make it something fun and interesting and not turn it into a miserable experience, but I guess that remains to be seen. So, all right. The final thing that I'm going to touch on this right now, but I'm going to talk about this a little bit more next week. We're going to break down some of the updates for player housing. So basically at the Warcraft 30 event in Boston, Blizzard invited a bunch of news outlets, content creators, YouTubers, different people to interview Blizzard devs about player housing. They had a alpha build of the player housing set up there so that these people could sit down and actually try it out and see what they could do. There's a lot of features in here that I still am being surprised by Blizzard actually giving us these features. I'm mind blown that they're actually giving us such a feature rich and deep system that we're going to be able to interact with for years to come. Just from the standpoint of being able to theme your house. Everybody was concerned about, it's all going to be human and orc. You can theme your house to be whatever you want. You want blood elf, you want night elf, you want dwarf, you want troll. You can change the theme of your house. Players were creating jump puzzles. So I think it was Taliesin was talking about making a cooking stove, using different parts and scaling them up and down. And it's crazy to me that Blizzard has done this, where they're just like, yeah, no, we're going to make this real. It's going to be legit. So I don't want to try and rush through it in a news segment. I'm going to take it as its own thing next week. There was a lot of videos that came out, a lot of interviews, a lot of articles, a lot of discussion. I'm trying to break it all down and disseminate it and come up with here's where we are currently with player housing. Here's what we know. Here's what we still don't know, and how all that's going to work. So I'm really excited about it, but yeah, I'm gonna hold on that for now. Let's move on to this week in World of Warcraft. This is the War Within Season 2, Week 12. The Mythic Plus affixes for the week are the +4 affix is Devour. Players are periodically afflicted with a heal absorb while in combat. It's not really a heal absorb, but you have to heal a certain amount or it's where you get the debuff. And you have to get rid of it through healing or dispelling to get the buff. So if you have a dispel, this is the week to use it. Go ahead and use paladins, shaman, monks, mages, druids, death knights can get rid of it with the anti-magic shell. So if you can get rid of this, it really helps out your healers. If you can't, well, what can you do? But yeah, Devour is your +4 affix. The +7 affix is Fortified. You know it, you love it, you love to see it. Non-bosses have 20% more health and deal 20% more damage. So Fortified and Devour. Not a bad week. Not like I'm doing any Mythic Plus right now. But still, I don't have to do the news to report the news. The bonus event for the week is the War Within Dungeon event. So you'll get the Sign of the Warrior buff, which is the final boss of each of the War Within dungeon will drop an extra item. This is not for Keystone, so you're only going to get it from Heroic and Mythic 0, or normal, I guess. Not really super helpful, but that's what it does. The quest Emissary of War from Archivist for Thrune and Dornogal to complete 4 dungeons on Mythic or Heroic difficulty will reward you with a piece of hero raid gear. So that's a pretty cool reward. Yeah, so there you go. The War Within Dungeon event is the bonus event for the week. This one I like it. It's good. If I'm really in that mode of I'm trying to get my vault and do all my stuff, and I've got my guys, and I'm just doing, this is a good one. Where I am right now, it's like 4 dungeons. Oh, that's way too many. that's a tall order. The PvP brawl for the week is Warsong Scramble. Do you have a flag? Warsong Gulch has always been the scene of epic capture the flag battle, but what happens when you capture your enemy's flag without your own at your base, or if there are multiple flags at each base? Find out when you step into this PvP brawl. We've also added a few more power-ups to the field of battle to stir things up a bit. To win, your team will need to first capture 10 flags. This one's fun. I like Warsong Scramble. When you zone in, you'll get the quest Something Different to win a PvP brawl, and you'll be rewarded with Conquest, Honor, and Marks of Honor. Yeah, it's fun because it's all go. Just go. And you can go in a pack and just grab flags and run them back. It's really cool. If you get a druid in there, it's really helpful. But yeah, I like Warsong Scramble. Some people don't like this one, and that's fine. It's usually pretty quick too. So if you want a quick brawl and you want to try and get some Conquest, Honor, and Marks of Honor, this is the way to do it. And that's it. We've got some. It's quiet for the next few weeks. Then we've got the Fire Festival coming up in June, but yeah, everything is kind of chill right now. Heads up, because this is coming in 2 weeks, is the 1,000 Boat Bash in Thousand Needles. So if you want to participate in that, this is the time to do it. So just know that that's coming up. I'll obviously remind you guys again, but yeah, that's a pretty good one. And then the Horrific Visions Revisited is now live. I have not tried this. I did it once on the PTR, and I was like, this is as dumb as I remember from Battle for Azeroth. I'm going to try it at some point and get on there, and I'll talk about it. But for now, we'll let that one go. So, all right. And that's it for, that's it. That's it for what's going on. We're going to jump now to the main topic of the week.
It's time for the main topic of the week.
All right. I want to talk about these add-ons. So Ian Hazzikostas, the OG that he is, he gave an interview with PC Gamer. So we had the Wowcast where he talked to Dratnos and Max about the future of WoW and getting rid of add-ons and reducing functionality and trying to reduce complexity. And it was all very nebulous, and here's something we're thinking about doing in some point in the future. He got a lot more specific about it, and a lot of people are panicking. And when I say panic, I don't mean like riots in the streets, but it's definitely a big shift in how the game has been for the last 21 years. So what they're talking about is they're talking about getting rid of any add-ons that provide you combat utility or information. So if you think about things like weak auras, that's a big obvious one. They don't like weak auras because it's so powerful. It can provide you with so much information. If everybody has the same weak aura, they can communicate with each other. Blizzard does not like that. They don't want players to have to write code in order to beat WoW. You should not have to write code. You should have to be really good at pushing your buttons and moving your character around. Not having code for playing a video. It's really infuriating that you see these guilds, and obviously they're going to take every competitive advantage that they can. But like in the example of the Race to World First, you see guilds who have a designated programmer for their guild. The problem that we face now is that once these things become available, now people rely on them, and it trivializes some of these mechanics. And so Blizzard has been forced to make the mechanics more complex in a way that can't be defeated by weak cores, which is, I was mentioning this last episode, is we were talking about all of the swirlies on the ground. That's why they're doing that, because you can't weak aura that away. You have to move your character. So the goal here is to try to reduce the number of add-ons that we rely on to complete content in WoW. Not the utility add-ons, not the one that sends your mail to your alts, not the one that for RP, it's TRP, whatever. Not those types of add-ons, not your map add-on, things like that. We're not talking about getting rid of theatrics. We're talking about things that are providing information that Blizzard does not feel like you necessarily need to have presented in a specific way. So what they said, and this is summarized in this Wowhead article, which thank you to Wowhead for actually breaking this down, because this article on PC Gamer was atrociously written. Look, PC Gamer, I grew up on PC Gamer. I remember reading PC Gamer, the actual physical magazine, back when they did those. And I loved PC Gamer, but it's definitely gone downhill. Anyway, this is not the forum for that. The proposed adjustments that they're making, incoming heals won't be trackable. So this is a huge one. You can see right now, if you have any sort of raid UI interface, Cell, Voodoo, any of these raid adjustments, add-ons that show your raid group, you can see when somebody else is healing a player, and so you can go, well, I'm not going to heal them, I'll heal someone else who does not have an incoming heal. They don't want that. They want players to have to rely on their intuition and coordinate with each other to say, okay, I'm going to heal group 1, you heal group 2, which is how we used to do it back in the day, mind you. I think they want to get back to a more, let's talk it through, let's organize it, rather than let the add-on tell you what to do. And I think that's really kind of going to be the theme here, is let's talk as players rather than have the add-ons just do all the work for us. The next one is no tracking group abilities or other players' cooldowns. This one is massive. One of the things that when I do Mythic Plus, because I have done higher level Mythic Plus, at least higher level for me, it becomes so crucial to do things at the right moment. You have to hit your cooldown at the right moment. You have to use your interrupt at the right moment. Things have to be done precisely, or your group will wipe. And they're talking about getting rid of that functionality. So if you think about something like Omni CD tracks your group's cooldowns. It tracks your interrupts. So it shows you who has an interrupt available. If you have a paladin tank, you've got 2 interrupts from that person. So there are things that it will provide you that information, so you can look at it and go, oh, okay, we've got an interrupt for this next big interrupt thing. We don't have to worry about it. What Blizzard wants you to do is to say, I don't have an interrupt, and then the rogue will go, I've got a kick, I'm good. All right, cool. Then the rogue will kick the mob and we move on. That's the interaction they want you to have. Now, that doesn't support precision high-end gameplay. And these players who are doing these sorts of high-end, or this type of high-end content, they're reliant on that to be able to do things at a moment's notice. Taking the time to communicate through voice slows everything down. And if you need to be moving quickly because you're trying to beat the timer, you don't want to have to talk to each other. You want to be able to just do it because you can look at your interface in half a second and know exactly what to do. No tracking specialized buffs or debuffs. These should be built in the default UI. Okay. I mean, this is the same type of thing, right? We're talking about if players get things, you don't want to have like a weak aura that pops up. Oh, and so I got to do it's communicating as I've got this debuff. Can somebody can somebody decurse me, versus a healer can see it and just know to do it. Same is true for tank swaps. If they're building an encounter that requires taunting at 4 stacks, the game should be better about giving players that information. So tank swaps is another big one. I rely heavily on deadly boss mods or weak auras for tank swaps. I'm not gonna lie. When I was tanking in season 1, The War Within, that was a huge part of what I was doing, was relying on those add-ons to know when to tank swap. But I will say this. Since the add-ons were not always super reliable, I felt like the add-on gives you information at the wrong point. I learned to watch. I learned to watch for the debuff. I learned to watch for the stacks. And I knew when to do it without having to be told by deadly boss mods or whatever. But it's a matter of learning. You have to learn how to do that. If you're doing high-end raiding, of course you're going to know how and when to do everything that you need to do. If you're doing low-level stuff, maybe you're doing normal raid, you're doing LFR, you might not know when to do the tank swap. And so, especially something like LFR, it makes it really complicated right now. But if you have oh my gosh, this player has this thing and it's on them and it's blinking and it's whatever. But if that's built into the default UI, then it makes it so that everyone knows how to do it. Whereas if somebody goes into LFR and they don't have deadly boss mods, they don't have weak auras, and they don't have big wigs, how are they supposed to know that there's a tank swap? How do they know? There's nothing in the game that tells them. And that's a problem. Stuns and other crowd control diminishing returns should also be made more visible. Absolutely. You should never have to guess, right? If you are going to use something, especially we're going back to Mythic Plus, because that's where a lot of this has an issue, is Mythic Plus, because it requires such precise gameplay. If you're ever concerned about whether or not you're going to have an issue with your crowd control breaking or your stun breaking, you should be able to have that information available, at least give you an idea of, hey, it's going to be less likely at this point or whatever. Maybe it turns yellow, maybe it goes green, yellow, red, something like that. PvP add-ons might still tell you what classes you're facing, but won't tell you what cooldowns have been used. So Omni CD started as a PvP cooldown. It's now a everything cooldown. Because you need to know what cooldowns have been used in like Arena, right? So, the Paladin already used their stun, but they haven't used their bubble or whatever. I don't know. I don't PvP. And so PvP, especially in Arena, has turned into a game of cooldown management instead of PvPing. And so you're just waiting for them to use the wrong cooldown, and then that's how you know you're going to kill them. That's not very exciting. I've watched Arena World Championship, and it's cool, but after a while it gets tedious. It's just cooldown back and forth. And Blizzard has already said they want to try to reduce the number of cooldowns that classes have. And so I think this plays into it, it becomes less important to track them if you have fewer of them and they become less important. Visual customization of nameplate style and scale will still be allowed, but conditional logic to change the way they look because of a buff or debuff probably won't be. So you know how when you have plater or threat plates or something like that, it changes the color based on the mob that's doing a certain thing. Maybe it's casting the big interrupt spell. And so when it's orange, interrupt, you can't do that anymore. They're going to get rid of that. And I shouldn't say it like that. This is not happening right now. This is for way down the road. Blizzard is just talking about it right now. They're just having a dialogue with us as players. Auction House, Quest Helpers Gathering, and Roleplay add-ons shouldn't be affected, which is what we were talking about. Blizzard intends to improve the base UI, Cooldown Manager, Edit Mode, and the audiovisual clarity of important mechanics while reducing the number of random swirls and required kicks in turn. This is what I've been talking about, is if Blizzard can make it so the boss says something like, I will defeat you. He's about to do his big move, right? Or if there's a lightning bolt that crashes down on the ground and everything lights up, he's about to do his big stun. Something like that is easy to identify and keep track of as a player. But we're so used to not having to do that because of deadly boss mods or weak auras or bigwigs that, we don't pay attention anymore. The bosses might as well just be a square. Like, it doesn't matter. We're not playing the game anymore. We're just tracking add-ons. And I think that's what they're trying to get away from. reducing the number of random swirls and required kicks and turns. See, this to me is really what's going to make this work. If they can actually do that, because they've said they were going to do this before and it didn't really feel like they did. If they can reduce the number of kicks that we need, big kicks that are party wipes, especially in Mythic Plus, but in Raid 2, if you get rid of those or at least reduce them and make it so that, okay, maybe you have throughout the course of an entire Mythic Plus dungeon, maybe you have 8 big kicks that you have to do. If you don't do one of these 8 kicks throughout the entire dungeon, you're going to wipe. I can live with that. I could live with that. Maybe 12 even. I don't know. But right now, I feel like you have to kick every single spell, and it's ridiculous. So Blizzard wants to get rid of that. And of course, the swirlies, like I mentioned. That's a big problem that it's annoying. Every time you try and cast, you've got to dodge 20 swirlies that are chasing you across the room. I don't enjoy raiding in WoW anymore because of the way that the game is. It's just not fun. I can't tell you the number of times where I've gone through, and when I was playing my Demon Hunter, you pop all your cooldowns and go to I-Beam, and as soon as I cast I-Beam, boom, there's a swirly right under me. Damn it, I have to move now, which means I've got to cut my I-Beam off, which means I'm going to cut my DPS, which means I'm going to parse like crap, which means that everyone's going to think I'm a terrible player and a terrible human being, and I might as well just quit playing the game. Maybe it's not that extreme, but you get the point. It's a matter of how enjoyable is the game right now. A lot of people are playing competitively because they have to, right? It's a well, this is what I'm doing, and so I'm going to just continue on with it. And I think a lot of these people would probably just quit playing WoW altogether. You've seen it when you see these when players high-end players who complete content, and as soon as they've completed it, they go play a different game because they're not actually having fun in WoW. They're essentially being paid to play WoW, and it's not enjoyable. If video games become a job and you're not enjoying them, I feel like we've made a wrong turn somewhere and needs to be cleaned up. And that's what Blizzard is trying to do. So it says clarifying that this initiative is still a work in progress and won't be coming in patches 11.1.7 or 11.2. The goal is to improve WoW's native UI, narrowing the gap between players, and removing things the developers believe are unhealthy for the game. Only then will add-on functionality be turned off. So if you think about it in terms of if you have both of these scales, right? So you say we've got add-ons on one side and we've got complexity on the other. You can't reduce complexity without reducing add-ons, because if you do, then everything in your game is going to be trivial and you're going to create all this content and players are going to do it in 5 minutes. Likewise, you can't get rid of add-ons without reducing complexity. So you have to do it together. And if you do it all at once, everything's going to be jarring. And Blizzard, as all the interviews that they did about patch 11.1.5 and talking about the development process and how when they do hot fixes to something in game, it's going to affect the development and process because those things are not necessarily on the same pipeline. So it creates a lot of bugs in the game, which is why 11.1.5 was so buggy. But Blizzard has shown that while they can make changes to the game, they have to do it in a small incremental step manner. Otherwise, yeah, you're going to have a big problem. And you might as well just say, well, this raid tier is just trash because Blizzard changed the UI and add-ons, and so now nothing works. Or it took Echo 2 days to clear the entire raid because it was too trivial. Or it's been 4 weeks and we still can't get a Race to World First victory because it's too complex. You have to do it in increments. You have to do it in steps so that you can check the progress, see how things are going, clean up any errors, and then move on to the next step, and then move on and move on. And eventually, the idea is that all of these functions that we're using, weak auras and bigwigs and Omni CD and Plater and all this stuff, all of these things that we're using to track these things to make the game playable will either not be necessary or it will be built into the default UI. And that, to me, is the biggest W that Blizzard could do. I know people are saying things like, Blizzard is terrible at building things in the base UI. You know what? I'll give it to you. They have not always had a great track record of building things into the base UI. But if you think about it, the edit mode that we have now, a lot of players stopped using add-ons altogether because the edit mode is so good. When they hit a home run, they really hit it. And we have to hope that the goal here for Blizzard, they're trying to make it so that this feels like a home run, that this feels like something good in the game. Not, oh, well, we could have had this, but no, this is something we want. This is something we're going to enjoy having in this game because we want to be able to play WoW and enjoy the game. And right now, I don't feel like it's enjoyable. I don't feel like WoW is a game. I feel like it's an add-on tracker. And you just have to watch all your add-ons and push the button when it says to push it. Hakili is essentially telling you exactly how to play the game. What is the point of that? I should be able to play the game by having fun and pushing buttons and learning and experimenting. We were talking about this in the Discord where, the whole idea of getting your spells as you level up. Level 10, let me go to my trainer and see what's new. And you train new spells and you go, what does this do? And you try it out and you go, well, this feels cool. I might as well play around with it. Or you go, this seems kind of dumb. I'm not going to use this. Now, that's not going to give you any advanced functionality, but at least give you a quick, easy lesson in what the spell does because you're going to put it on your bar. You're going to push it a couple times and you're going to see whether or not you like it. Right now, in the War Within, you're leveling so fast, you don't look at any of your spells. You get to level 80 and you're like, I don't know what half these spells do. I don't know how to play my character because I was playing in leveling mode where I wasn't even thinking and I don't know what all of my abilities are. I'm in the wrong, my spec is wrong, my toolbars are set up completely wrong. There's so many things that you don't know about the game through the leveling process because the game doesn't teach you. It doesn't teach you how to play World of Warcraft. And that should be one of the main reasons for leveling is to teach you how to play the game. But the leveling process has been completely eliminated through various reasons. And so, yeah, players get to level 80 and they don't know what to do. So to not only be confused about how to play your character, but to have somebody tell you, oh, you need these 12 add-ons in order to do anything in game, that's frustrating. For somebody who has maybe a older computer, they can't run all these add-ons, or somebody who struggles with getting these things set up. I know how to do some basic weakors, but I don't know how to do anything complicated. I'm not writing any code. So yeah, it's frustrating that we're at this point, but I'm so appreciative of Blizzard for being able to recognize that, okay, this is a problem. We're going to pull it back. We're not going to pull the rug out from under you guys and just say, oh, 11.2, all add-ons are banned. But it's going to give us an opportunity to say, okay, we can slowly work through this. We can slowly iterate for it. Some of the steps might be bigger than others, and that's okay because we're making them in a logical way. We're using our thinking brains to try to figure out how to do this. There's a couple of quotes in here that I wanted to bring up. So talking about the cooldown manager and the base UI. So we already have the cooldown manager in the game right now, and it's terrible. A lot of players are like, this is worthless. Why would I even do this? Players have been making add-ons to control the cooldown manager, which is like, what's the point then? So he says, we know we're not going to replace a fully in-depth customizable add-on that you've been using for years and tailored to your personal gameplay with something that we have as an initial fixed offering. But we're getting a whole bunch of feedback on the ways in which it would need to change. We need to add customization to improve it, to make it feel like it could be a reasonable substitute for a more advanced power user. The goal is, at the end of the day, to get to a point where asked, hey, do I need to use add-ons to play? The answer is, well, they give you a lot of options to customize your experience, but no, it's up to you. Today, if we're being honest, we can't say that. Some of it is being guided by feedback to understand how we can bridge a gap for a majority of our players, and also to some extent, accepting and hopefully getting folks to accept that it is 96% of perfect. So, I mean, yes, he's not wrong. You have to put it out there first, get the feedback, and go, okay, what do you guys want? Because they could try and copy an add-on exactly, but what's the point? Because not everyone uses weak ores the same. So how can you make a generic default user interface feature that fits everybody's needs differently without making it complex? Okay, so now to edit your cooldown manager, start typing in your Lua code now. No, please no. And then on the topic of disarming the race between add-ons and boss mechanics, so Ian says, our goal is to deliver a baseline, a consistent level of difficulty that meets players' expectations. I've seen discussion of whether WoW is harder than it used to be. If you measure that by player success rates, then no. We might tune a heroic end boss for ahead of the curve to be something that's going to take a couple dozen attempts for a guild that's in the core audience. What it takes to hit that mark has continuously increased in terms of complexity because our players have gotten more sophisticated. So, yeah, this is the problem, is that it's, and he's mentioned it before, the arms race, right? This is the problem that they are facing, is that players are more sophisticated. I was watching a Dratnos video where he was talking about using macros to communicate with each other through weak auras. If all of this stuff gets banned, then it's like, why? Why is this necessary to play this game? I get being competitive. I do understand that, but the game shouldn't be so complicated that you need to use a macro to send communications to each other. I use this cooldown and it sends that message out and somebody's keeping track of it and they've got a spreadsheet and it's feeding it and it's pulling the data down using AI we don't need all that. We don't need all of that. We just need a game that we learn how to play by playing the game. We shouldn't have to learn how to play the game by installing add-ons that essentially tell us what to do. So, yeah, it's been really frustrating watching all of these videos and seeing all of the doomsayers, apocalypse. And I know some of these people are being dramatic. Of course, it's YouTube. You got to get on there and be dramatic. I get it. And they don't really feel that way. It's just a matter of, making a point. And I think that at the end of the day, everyone realizes that this is for the best thing, or it's for the best that Blizzard is doing this thing, because for the longevity of the game, you have to invest in new players. And this is part of it. It's not just about the new player experience, although that does need to be cleaned up. It's about making a welcoming environment for players so they can come in and say, hey, I want to do that too. I joined my guild in Classic, and within days of hitting level 60, I was ready to go. Now, I know how to do all the stuff in Classic. I know how to get my attunements. I know roughly how to gear. I'm not an expert on min-maxing all of my hunter gear, but I have a general idea of what to look for, and I need 9% hit, and I need, I should have around 1100, 1200 attack power at a this level of gear and whatnot. I know all these things, but what I didn't know was, here's the add-ons we're using today. Here's the things that we're using to help the game. I should be able to just walk in and say, here I am. And then they go, okay, you just set you up and shoot that guy. All right, cool. That's how complex WoW, at least in vanilla, should be. Now, if you want to make it a little bit more complex than that, I get it. We don't need to go back to Molten Core, or Molten Snore. But I will say that having that ease of entry into the game, if LFR was as difficult as Molten Core, more or less, I think that would be a really good entry. We shouldn't have to use add-ons in LFR. We should have 0 add-ons for LFR, honestly. You should be able to just click on the boss and go. But because the game has gotten more complex, because the player base is more sophisticated, Blizzard has had to put in these complicated mechanics even in LFR, which is ridiculous. So, is there a good way to iterate this? I don't know. I feel like Blizzard has backed themselves into a corner and they have no choice but to fight back, which is pulling back all these add-ons. The final quote here is, I think, frankly, this will stop letting us off the hook when we fail to do so. If you're riding a Katamari ball on sticks and you run into one of these 3 nameplates, you wipe the raid, but there are 90 things on screen. Good luck visually parsing that. There are nameplate attachments and things the community has come up with to help solve that problem. We should have solved that problem. Our classes weren't designed under the assumption that you're going to have unpredictable movements every few seconds, making those encounters less fun for caster characters. We just want more variety in a diverse design space. The toughest modern bosses with mechanics that require players to clump up or head to specific spots might give a few more seconds to respond, or have fewer spots to go to, in a world without combat add-ons. If we know it's being solved for you, and you're just going to be told to run to Diamond, how is that challenging? How do we make it challenging? The only way is to give you 2.5 seconds, so you need some movement boost. You're taking a Warlock Gate from point A to point B, because otherwise anyone could do this. And there you go. That's the key right there. The game is easy if you're being told what to do, but if players are having to create solutions to this complexity, it needs to stop. It needs to pull back. So yes, Blizzard is declaring war on add-ons. Absolutely. And I, for one, am here for it. I want to see them take these add-ons out. I love weak auras. I really do, but I shouldn't have to use weak auras to play the game. I really shouldn't. It should not be that complicated. Like I said before, the most complicated thing I have to do in Classic is use a weapon swing timer to keep track of my aim shots and my melty shot. Okay. I'm okay with that, honestly. They could build that into the interface and that would be cool too. Or just give them a cast time, right? But in Classic, the weapon swing timer was a little wonky, so I'll give them a pass on that. And it's all fixed in modern WoW because you're not doing things in the same way. So if you create a new character and I'm just going to go and I'm going to learn how to play the game. I'm not going to read any websites. I'm not going to Icy Veins. I'm not going to Wowhead. I'm just going to play. You should be able to play the game at a decent level in endgame. You should be able to do raid, normal raid, maybe LFR, maybe normal raid, and heroic dungeons. Those should not be difficult. I've seen people go in and do less DPS than the healer because they just literally have no idea what they're doing because the game is too complex. So anyway, I'm really happy that Blizzard is doing this. I'm really glad to see it. I know some people are not thrilled, but I think at the end of the day, it's going to be for the best and the game will benefit. They did. So as I mentioned, he said, it's not going to be in 11.1.7 or 11.2. I feel like that's kind of leaving the door open for Midnight. That might be one of the big changes that we get in Midnight is that the new combat system is going to be revealed. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe over the course of the World Soul Saga, we'll see the combat system slowly evolve into something sustainable for the future. One can only hope. All right. That is going to wrap up our show for today. Thank you so much for listening and for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you want to get a hold of me directly, you can reach me on Twitter at Denethar is my handle there. I am still on Blue Sky, but I don't really use it a whole bunch. So I'm at Denethar on that platform as well. But I'm really not using Blue Sky a whole bunch anymore. So if you have any questions or comments about the podcast, or if you have a particular topic that you would like to hear discussed, please email us at AzerothUnitedPod@gmail.com. Also, if you're enjoying the show, please consider leaving us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. That really helps out our distribution. So if you are inclined to do so, we would be very grateful. If you're watching us on YouTube, you can help us out by giving us a like and a subscribe. I'd also like to take a moment to thank our patrons who give their IRL money to help out with the production of the show. We have different membership tiers, from free membership to our top tier, which is friend of the show. Our friend of the show patrons are Judge Omni, Stug Life, Thelial, and Greybeard. Thank you so much. You definitely help make Azeroth United possible through your generous support. Okay. Thank you again for listening. Remember to be good to each other out there. That's a real person on the other side of that keyboard. And maybe they don't like combat add-ons and you do, and maybe they blew all their cooldowns and you have no idea because there's no more add-ons to keep track of that. So it's okay. So just remember to be nice and smile and communicate with each other so that you know whether or not you used up your cooldowns, and have fun. All right. Take care. I love you all, and I'll see you in Azeroth.